Hey, what is up guys, and welcome to the interior show around for the Gothic workshop that we recently made. Today we're going to be doing this pretty much in the pitch black, just because I think it really shows off the atmosphere of this build, which I really like. Of course, it still looks good in daytime, but all the torches and stuff inside the build just really add to the atmosphere. So, without further ado, let's get in here and check this place out. So, to begin with, it ends up being kind of cramped, but I really like that feeling, so that's what I kind of went for this build. We really just have tons of these crafting tables and chests and just a bunch of little crafting items and posters flying around. So on the right we've got this little chair, which is it just looks like half of a bed kind of, but in the default texture pack it is just a oak plank half slab, so it still looks good of course. And then for the sort of backrest I just placed on a trapdoor for that thing, which I've grown to really like. Before I used to just do sort of item frames or the, what are they called, the signs around it. But yeah, I think the trapdoor is really probably my new favorite. And then for the table, I just use the fence and then the pressure plate. And if you have World Edit, and then I believe it is the Conquest texture pack, which I'm using right now, you can get yourself these cool little metadatas, which you still have to be in 1.72 to use since they took them out in 1.8. But they really can change the atmosphere you build and then just give you like a whole bunch more detail and everything. But of course, in the default texture pack, it's still pretty much will look just as good. You just won't have sort of the pen and quill, I guess. So over to the left, just sort of a crafting table with this little cool saw that comes on top of it. Just, I don't know how they do it, but in this texture pack there's a lot of little random stuff that they can add in, which I really like. That's mainly why I use this thing. As you'll see throughout the build, some of these don't even have the drawers on them. They're more so like the hammer and whatever. I think those are two hammers, but some of them will have as you saw on this one, the little saw blade on top, and then there's various other things that you can find. But yeah, so that's that. And then, I don't know if I showed you this. Of course we built it before, but I don't think I showed you what I did to it. So I put it in a bunch of boxes, sort of cleaned up the roof for it, and I believe that's all, but I'll just do a quick little fly through on here. And then I added some chests as well. If you're wondering what these boxes are, they are just the oak wood planks in the default texture pack, so it still looks pretty good. And then, oh, one thing I forgot to mention, right here, how this overlaps, I really like that. That's kind of cool. It really makes the build look a lot less flat, where if you just had just that, it definitely doesn't look as good. So by adding that trapdoor, it really gives it a more 3D effect. So before we go upstairs, we're going to head over here to the left, and then you may notice that I've sort of made the roof on the first floor and the second floor. I made it more slanted and stuff and really gave it some shape. So definitely, if you have time or if you want to, definitely try to do that in your builds, because it really adds just a lot more detail. And let me just show you really quick the difference. So this one, it just gives you, I guess, a more sense of coziness and stuff somehow, just because the build seems a little bit smaller. So if you want a build that's more suitable to hold tons of people, try to have your ceilings a lot more high. But if you're having a build that only is supposed to have a couple people or even just one person in it at a time, try to make the ceilings a little bit lower, and that goes for sort of bedrooms. You want those ceilings to be smaller, and then say if it's like a living room or a dining room, you maybe want that ceiling to be a little more high. So yeah, that's my little tip for that. And then of course right here we have some boxes, crafting table, this little redstone torch for the sort of atmospheric effect. As you can see, it tends to get a little bit dark, but in the daytime this room really sort of brightens up with all the windows we have in here. And then of course we do have this thing in the front where the worker here can sort of sell his newly made crafting supplies. Now for this little right side, I tried to give it not a whole blacksmithy effect, but I tried to make it seem as though he could create sort of his own tools. So we have the little furnace right here where he can heat up the metal, and then he pulls it out, maybe he sticks it on here and sort of drags it onto the anvil, and then he hammers it down, and then he places it in this, which I do need to add some water in here, or else his weapons are going to be very hot before you can put them on the wood thing. So we have that. Hopefully I got that in the right order. I'm not sure if maybe the anvil and the water get switched around, but I'm 90% sure this is how it goes in real life. So yeah, and then of course we have the crafting table on the right side where he can maybe do some finishing touches, maybe some painting, or add some wooden stuff onto his tools. So yeah, and then of course just a little picture right here, the flag, and then also some little posters over here, maybe some ingredients, I'm not sure what they are, and then also some little posters back there as well. So now we will head upstairs, and this is the final floor for this build. I didn't really feel the need to place in an attic. Let me just show you the room we had. So if we fly up here, this is really all we could have had for an attic, and personally I don't really like these one wide walkways. I just feel like there's really no need for them. Of course, you could maybe place some chests up there if you really are in survival and you need some extra space. But if you're in just creative and you want to just make a pleasing, aesthetically looking build, definitely don't do the attic. I just don't think there's any need for it. So anyways, upstairs, this room is really simple and it uses pretty much 100% of the default blocks. But it just, for some reason, it really looks awesome in my opinion. It's a nice little area where this guy can come up and create some new ideas. This little area right here is just his desk where he can sort of brainstorm and maybe draw out some blueprints and whatnot. So that's that. So on the left side, we start out with this torch. I had to add 3 of them in here just because it got so dark at nighttime, and I really wanted this to be sort of a place where he could come maybe when the work is done. He could come up here when it's late at night and just sort of relax and brainstorm and come up with new ideas and whatnot. So I also did this little island thing. You may have seen these in sort of modern kitchens and whatnot, but I decided to place one in here. I just thought it was like a cool little sight barrier, especially after you add that plant. It really kind of draws your attention elsewhere instead of in this midway section. It really kind of makes you choose which way you want to go. So over here, if you go this way, we have a little table where maybe if he's coming up with blueprints and is struggling to have ideas, he can sit down with a partner and maybe come up with ideas and collaborate and whatnot. And then if you choose to go left, it just brings you right over to his desk along with some bookshelves where maybe he has previous blueprints or maybe just I guess scrolls of the ancients that maybe have old inventions and whatnot that he can try out. So yeah, and then of course, don't think I mentioned this, but there is this little picture on the back. But that is all for today, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed the build today, or the show around as I should say. But make sure and let me know in the comments what you want to see next time. We're going to be building in the Nordic style. Although someone did recommend a Hobbit build, although that would be pretty tricky to do a tutorial on, just because it would be sort of pushed into the mountain, and not everyone has the same shaped mountain. So I think maybe that won't work, although if I do decide to do it, I'll probably do just a little show around on it, in case you guys do want to see that. So yeah, guys, as I said, that is going to be it for today, so make sure and let me know what you want to see next time in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.